It's going to show up today, which I always do if I can. See, I'm rubbing my arm here. Yesterday, as I was getting out of my car, I tweaked something in here and it hurt. And last night I could hardly sleep because it just was painful. So some pain relievers things, and I managed to get some sleep, but not much. So I was thinking, oh yeah, and but it's getting a little better, but it's not perfect at all. And if you hear me winch or whatever, that's because it's sore here today. I sometimes get that, and I'm very right-handed. Most things, my strength is in my right hand, so it's really interesting getting these things done with. I can type all right, believe it or not, but lifting or opening or even getting dressed this morning was a challenge because my arm did not want to do what I wanted today. Last week, I talked about, well, the last 2 weeks actually, I talked about the wand symbology of the tarot and how it shows how when we are aware of our thinking and becoming, more utilizing what we know, how it actually works. It can work very simply, or we can create all sorts of complications. So today we're going to go into the cup symbology. Now, the cup symbology is about your feelings and your emotions. So it's a little more all over the place as we go. But the first one, which is I'm just trying to think where to put it. Up here, I think. Ace of Cups is probably my personal favorite. Some tarot readers say they don't have favorites. Well, I do. And this is this one because it's allowing in the dove of peace, bringing in the sacrament, and your life overflows. And there's lots of other symbology in there, which I'm not going to bore you with, but it's, if you were bored by it, but it's really about embracing life. Embracing the feelings that we have. Now, for those of you who've listened to me a lot, you've heard me talk about how I believe that this is an emotional planet, a feeling planet. That's what makes it very, very, sorry, I stumbled there. What makes it very different from a lot of other planets, which tend to be more mental, more run on a mental level than an emotional level. But I really feel very strongly over the years, more and more, that this planet is actually alive and thinks because it feels, and it feels for everyone and is there to help us. And the feeling that we have is a loving feeling on here. When we're first created as a soul, it's more beingness and aliveness. And then here, you come here, and then you've got to get in touch with these things called feelings. Oh my goodness, that's not always easy. So it's by welcoming a sense of feeling, because that's your body's way, which the body is connected to the earth, talking to you. So when we have a feeling come in, then first thing we got to do is we've got to bring it into balance. Communication with ourselves, communication with others. This is a healing symbol as well, as you can tell by the symbology there. And it's really like that's how we get everything smoothed out. And when we do that, very simple, 1, 2, 3, 3 shows we become happy. When we are in peace, when we're in balance, when everything is always working. I deal a lot with male and female selves of ourselves, but we also have females and males and that we work with and see and talk to. So it's also a part of the whole project as well. But we want to be able to rejoice and be happy. Sometimes when we're happy with something, we clam onto it really, really tightly, and we don't make allowances for change, or movement. And that's what the 4 talks about. 3 cups from before in front of us, cross arms, cross legs, doesn't want to have anything to do with the symbol that's coming in. That's the new feeling, the new, probably maybe something that you want in your life coming in, but no, it doesn't meet your criteria. It isn't exactly the way you want it. So you kind of reject it. But if you keep on rejecting change, excuse me, I have a drink of water here. If you keep on rejecting change, what ends up happening is like this symbol. What you've been working for falls over and it all disappears. This is grief. This is sadness. But look, 2 cups behind the man, because we had 3 looking before, and now the 4, now they're gone. but there's now a tube and a bridge over the river of life to the castle of dreams. So you got to change your perspective. You got to look at things from a different way, a different perception, and that way you can get to where you want to go quite easily. Because one of the things that one needs to do is to put the past in perspective. This is a lot about memories, what we do with memories. The way the flowers are down here, it takes time for flowers and greenery to grow. And that's what we have as we get older in particular. What memories do we hang on to? What memories do we touch or feel with kid gloves? Because maybe we don't like those so much. But it's like we have to know that those are parts of us. And this is where I believe self-forgiveness comes in really strongly, so that you're not hung up on all the feelings that you have from before that didn't work out very well. And then it goes to the future. This is the imagination, first imagination symbol. It's a very powerful, the imagination is a powerful, as far as I'm concerned, devastating pattern that we can get into, where we blow everything up in our minds, where we're not seeing reality at all. And what's happening is that this has got everything in these cups: fame, fortune, temptation, beauty, jewels. It's all there, and we imagine it. And what we've got to do is we have to let go of the imagination and move forward, leaving it all behind, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, and stepping forward in our strength in relation to life, so that we can come out in solidarity, happy, aware of what we've achieved. We're not hampered by our past. We're not hampered by our imagination. It is all done in a very, very effective way. And what that brings about is happiness for everyone. Because the two children are having happy, their mom and dad say is having happy. So all people are happy with what they've achieved and where they're going. So it definitely talks about the pitfalls that we have about feelings. And that's one reason I teach that we need to name, if we possibly can, any feelings that come up. Now, in the tarot, there's always 4 court cards: the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. And in the cups, the page gets caught up with the unexpected. The pages are always a little they're not as mature. That's basically it. It's when we're young. It's like, oh, that's exciting. Oh, let's go do this, or this is going to be great, la, la, la. And we get caught up in it. And that's okay. I mean, we're going to do that remember the 5 of cups. Things can not work out the way we want sometimes. And we just have to accept that and move on. The knight, I really like the knight of cups. Probably is the most easy. Knights are always going somewhere. And he's going slow and sure. He's dealing with whatever comes up. The river of life's there. There's a few little mountains in the background. But he's going to get there because he's just going to go slowly and surely and make sure it all works. So that is a really plus. But on the other hand, the queen, remember the 7 of cups with all the imagination? Well, now it's an attitude. Now this is what she does all the time, is blows everything up out of proportion. The good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter. Her mind's going to get in there and do havoc. They don't really see reality because they want to see what they want to see. And it's unfortunate, actually. It's something that I don't particularly really like. I don't like seeing it in my clients, but it's there sometimes because I don't like what I have to say, which is look at reality. The King of Cups, it took me a long time to understand this King of Cups because he's cold. I always find him cold. He's riding on a concrete throne on a rough sea. Now, the rough sea is emotion. So he has a way of holding himself above the feelings, being very clear about what he wants. He has his cup in his left hand, but he also has a scepter in his right hand. He's also looking towards his right. He knows what he wants. The background of the surprises in life doesn't really get to him. He manages really, really well in lots of things, but I've always found him in a personal way cold, just cold. But he's a master of dealing with the ups and downs of life. And so you've got to give him credit for that. So that probably is something that we need to achieve, is to be able to handle and deal and not get caught up in the emotions. My one thing I find very often that comes with the King of Cups is very often a rejection of certain feelings that are going on. And so consequently, what needs to happen, as far as I'm concerned, is more of an intaking of the depth of the feelings, so that he is knowing, not sort of superior, like I'm above all this. I know it. I've got it. I don't think that's the way to hold and work and deal with feelings. So that's what I was going to talk about today. And let's trust when I come back on Sunday, I've got a few days to have this arm fixed and to the point where I can use it really well. It's been quite a handful to, well, we're not even quite 24 hours yet, but man, it's a little better. I was able to get some clothes on, which was a good thing. So anyway, I want you to have a great day. I want you to think about how you feel. And are you in touch with how you feel? Now, I should say the one thing is this. If you're not sure what you're feeling, just say to your body, if you can't give it a name, say, I don't know what this is I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something. The body will still feel heard and it will dissipate. It's the ignoring of feelings that the body pushes harder and harder and harder. Sadness, depression, all of those things. If you're not acknowledging what's going on, it's going to get heavier and harder for you. And I'm well, I do a lot of reading, so I see people, I want them to be happy. And very often we're so addicted to feeling what we feel that we don't really let go. And as you can see by the way there, it's really important to let go of those things that haven't worked and move on ahead. So next week, I will be doing the reading for the month of February, I guess we're in. Yeah, we'll be in. So, and then the following week, I'll pick this up with the swords. Swords are really interesting because that's what a lot of us have to deal with more often than even emotional stuff. All dovetails, all comes together. Wish you well. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your coming on board and listening, and also for your comments, for your everything that you do, shares, subscriptions. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So you have a good rest of the week, and I'll get better. Okay, thanks.